Timing of storms we could possibly see tomorrow evening and what we can expect from this system tonight.
Plus, as more severe weather moves across the south, we check in with hard-hit places as they continue to clean up the process from last week's storms.
Plus, we talk about the impacts being made in the U.S. from the wildfires currently burning across Canada.
WBRC Fox 6 News. First Alert Weather Extra starts now.
And welcome into Weather Extra happening right now. We are tracking severe weather down along the coast, and this is a possible tornado there. Well, it looks like a tornado to me. That was from our sister station KLPC out of Lake Charles, Louisiana. A possible tornado that was in the Sulphur, Louisiana area there earlier. But you can see that obviously funnel there, Tania, severe storms. That was one area. We saw those severe storms move through Mobile.
Yes.
And then down around Panama City today.
Yes, and that's going to continue to be the case over the next couple of hours, and we won't see that wet weather in our area until later on tonight.
Yeah, until later on tonight. That's the next big thing that we're tracking is the same system responsible for that possible tornado is about to move south of us this evening. Now, we're going to be talking about the severe threat staying to the south of us, but we're certainly going to see a good chance for some of those showers to come back later on. But right now, out the door, a lot of clouds, but no rain, no severe weather happening right now. Currently 71 degrees here for us in Bibb County. And you can see radar, no rain showing up. So I know you check the app. We've had that 20% chance of a shower in there, but we're not seeing any rain at the moment. But this is what we're tracking. That's the system responsible for that video you just saw as it moved through Lake Charles, and now it's tracking there along the coast, moving towards New Orleans. But folks, from New Orleans to Gulfport, Biloxi, Pascagoula, back in towards South Alabama, Mobile, Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, all those areas, we need to be weather alert for this evening, for tonight. I know a lot of folks are watching us on the live stream right now, so just making sure everyone is weather alert because some damaging winds possible. This is round number 2 after severe storms moved through earlier today. But you can see the way that's moving. That's going to stay to the south of us. So we're going to kind of catch the north end, it looks like, for this evening. And that's why we think we could see some showers coming back from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the morning. But that severe threat will stay to the south of our area. Now, next big thing is going to be tomorrow. Possibility that we could see some scattered strong thunderstorms redevelop during the afternoon. Now, we'll get through most of the day dry tomorrow, but you can see from 3 o'clock to 8 o'clock, starting to the west, we need to watch out for a possible thunderstorm there. And then from 4 o'clock to 9 o'clock into the evening, some impacts for Chilton, Shelby, Jefferson, Blount counties there, and also back into East Alabama. Looks like some of those impacts by the evening as well. But it's scattered storms, so some of us may actually miss out on the rain tomorrow evening, but the chance is certainly there. So we do need to be alert for that possibility of some more storms coming back. But again, we're not the only ones seeing that chance for a shower and the potential strong thunderstorms. Here's some more video from Asa Shalobam on Twitter. This was taken in Pensacola earlier today as heavy rains began to impact the area. Strong storms impacting the Gulf Coast brought up to 5 inches of rain. Look at those cars out there trying to drive through that. And I mean, these storms, when you get into this time of the year, they dump so much rain in such a short amount of time. But of course, with more storms coming in during the overnight hours, a flood watch is in effect, and that's going to continue until midday on Tuesday for areas there along the coast. And new video from Kelly Woods from our sister station WALA. That's Fox 10 in Mobile, showing those storms as they moved over Mobile Bay earlier this morning. Strong damaging wind gust also sent towels, shoes, and all kinds of beach belongings flying across the sand earlier today. Folks having to seek shelter as those storms rolled in along the coast. And this comes as more than 15 million people across the South have been placed in an enhanced risk for severe weather. That enhanced risk was down to the south of us. And again, we'll be talking about that enhanced risk staying to the south for tonight and into tomorrow. All right, so right now what we want to do is we want to head over to meteorologist Matt Daniel talking about the rare event that happened going into the weekend, the Northern Lights. We are talking all about what happened Friday night. It was truly a generational event, and a lot of folks have been asking me, could we see it again this week? Well, of course, right now we have a lot of clouds in place, but you really need that level 5, that extreme solar storm. And someone asked me, said, Wes, we knew the eclipse was coming forever, but how come we didn't know about this? Well, these solar storms are a lot like the storms that we track. So we actively monitor what's happening with the sun's activity on a daily basis. And meteorologist Matt Daniel breaks down a little bit more of what we experienced going into the weekend and shares some more of those photos.
So Friday night was a rare event, not only for us, but for the entire Earth when it came to those northern lights, making it all the way down into the southeast, into Florida, and even into the parts of the Bahamas. And we saw these kind of photos with the purples and the pinks. Just absolutely incredible to see here in the southeast, most likely generational. Austin Green sent in this particular photo as well. And we even had a family sit down in Maplesville, Alabama, posing for those northern lights Friday night. But let's talk about the science of it and why it's such a rare thing. Well, of course, we've got the sun, and we have what we call the solar wind. It's just heat and charged particles emitted by the sun, and it travels through space. And you probably heard about sunspots, those little black dots you see on the sun. We had a significant amount of energy get released from the sun, producing those sunspots, and that energy made its way all the way to the Earth. So just to give you an idea, when it comes to the Earth has a magnetic field that protects us from most of those particles. Pretend as if it's just a shield protecting us from that intense radiation. But sometimes, like I said, when you have a lot of energy coming from the sun, it goes released into space, and sometimes the energy is directed towards Earth, and that is where we get those CMEs or those geomagnetic storms impacting us. And so during a solar storm, those extra charged particles will reach the poles, and that's why only far north latitudes can see those northern lights. But because it was so intense, we were able to see those northern lights even farther south here in the southeast. So we get those collisions, those charged particles from the sun collide with oxygen and nitrogen in the Earth's atmosphere, and those oxygen and nitrogens can help create some of those colors that you see. Those red and green lights is due to oxygen. Nitrogen can help produce that pink and blue light, and a lot of this also depends on where you're at on the Earth when it comes to those auroras. So the shapes of that depends on the viewing position and where you're at. So the space, NOAA and the agencies were able to see that energy get released, and so we only had about 24-hour time frame to be like, okay, we got this intense beam, we need to issue a watch. So these are the levels when it comes to geomagnetic storms, a 1 through 5, 5 being the most intense and most rare and extreme. And I remember Friday evening they released a G4 storm watch. Well, in Europe they saw those colors and images, and they upgraded to a 5, and it was super rare, and we were able to see it. So we were able to see the sun have a lot of activity, and then when it came to detecting how strong it was, we had a satellite that detected it, and then we were able to see how strong it was, and that's why we were able to see it Friday. So most likely a generational event. I don't know if we're going to see anything like this in our lifetime. We could, but sometimes these storms can cause some impacts on radio frequencies, GPS, satellites, and even power grids. So while it's a cool thing to see for us, sometimes it can have some negative impacts when it comes to these geomagnetic storms.
Great explanation there, Matt. But now across the country to where most of Minnesota remains under an air quality alert due to wildfire smoke from Canada. Over 100 wildfires are burning in Canada, mostly in British Columbia and Alberta provinces. And as the winds carry the smoke southeast into the U.S., the Twin Cities of Minnesota currently have the worst air quality in the country. The air quality index reaching the unhealthy category Sunday night and has remained through today. Officials are advising people with lung or heart diseases to avoid outdoor activity. This comes as one of the largest fires burning in the British Columbia continues to burn. The Parker Lake wildfire grew over the weekend and has now burned more than 13,000 acres. The British Columbia Wildfire Service identifying the blaze as out of control, saying that it could breach the current control line. Officials also urging the town of Fort Nelson to evacuate as large fires also burn across Alberta. That area also experiencing thick smoke and poor air quality. Well, don't go anywhere. We'll have more right here on First Alert Weather Extra. We'll be right back.
And welcome back into First Alert Weather Extra. Currently dry weather across our area, but you can see this evening those rain chances will start to go up by 9-10 o'clock. Looks like a good chance for showers, tracking strong thunderstorms right now moving down along coastal areas. We had some severe weather down along the Gulf Coast earlier today. I'll show you some of the storm reports here, and you can see where all the heavy rain also occurred there in areas off to the south. I mean, we're talking about places here that's picked up over 5 inches of rain for today down along the coast. But we're kind of right there on the northern end. We'll see more of those storms there tracking to the south of us. Here's a current radar view, and we'll show you what that looks like at the moment. And we'll also overlay some of those warnings. And it looks like at this time, moving into the Baton Rouge area, another tornado warning right there. So 1, 2, 3 tornado warnings there. Some of the parishes just to the west of Baton Rouge, and look at all that lightning. There's some intense storms about to move into that part of the country. But again, all this is going to move down along the coast tonight. We'll see some rain. Better chance for some scattered storms here locally by tomorrow afternoon.
Thanks for that update, Wes. And around the world, over 300 people have died and more than 1,600 are injured in northern Afghanistan after flooding swept through the country. Officials say thousands of homes, vital infrastructure, and healthcare facilities have been damaged. Residents are left with nothing as their food, shelter, and belongings have been destroyed. The Taliban's economy minister urging organizations to support those affected by the floods, estimating that the hardest hit areas were home to over 300,000 children that have now, quote, lost everything. And in southern Brazil, the number of dead is rising following the weeks of unrelenting heavy rain and flooding. Officials say at least 147 people in the state of Rio Grande do Sul have died and more than 800 injured. They also say the floods have displaced more than 500,000 people. We'll continue to have more information on our forecast right here across central Alabama as we take a look at the 7-day forecast and then go beyond the 7-day. You're watching First Alert Weather Extra. We'll be right back.
And welcome back into First Alert Weather Extras. Matt was showing us all these incredible Northern Lights photos. It happened there from about 8 o'clock Friday night until about 9:30. We received hundreds of these photos, but we've been going through them, and I promise we'll continue to share some as we continue to find more video and more pictures there. But from McCalla to Coleman, and this is from Michael Brown sharing this photo, and one from Odenville, and there was one that I shared over the Warrior River in Moundville, and there were even sightings down across Florida of this rare magnitude 5 level geomagnetic storm causing the northern lights to be visible. And so many of you have asked me over the weekend, will we see this again this week? And I just can't stress enough how rare what happened Friday night. It's just a rare occurrence. But we are actually in a very active solar cycle right now. In fact, if you go out on a sunny day, there's a chance you still have those eclipse glasses. You may be able to see this huge sunspot that's been throwing these cosmic waves in our direction. And we're seeing, we call them CMEs, these big ejections of solar particles that move towards the Earth. So if we see that and we look at those 3-day forecast projections and we see that we could reach another level 5 magnitude, possible, we could see the northern lights again, but we'll just have to wait and see. Right now, a lot of clouds in place across our area, temperatures in the 70s. And tonight, we're going to see some showers coming back. Not right now, but you can see by 10, 11 o'clock tonight, you can see that chance for some showers back on the increase, but it looks mostly like just some light rain. Not seeing any severe weather for us. Now, there's going to be some strong storms down along coastal areas. Tomorrow morning looks like we catch another break during the day at times, but as we heat up, steamy during the afternoon, we'll see a better chance for some scattered storms to develop. But notice even through 3 o'clock, a lot of us are still dry. So we're going to get through most of the day with very little rain until we get to late afternoon and evening, and then we'll have a chance for some scattered storms to develop. And there might be a leftover shower in the early on Wednesday, but we will trend drier as we go into Wednesday and Thursday. And the muggy levels will back off a little bit there Wednesday and Thursday, but that's your 2 days to circle. Wednesday, Thursday, and even most of tomorrow. Again, we'll have some dry weather, but we'll certainly have some dry conditions there for the mid part of the week. And then the next big thing rainfall-wise will be Friday. Looks like we get into another active period with rain and storms. You can see moving west to east across the area. Looks like Friday during the day, possibly another wave of storms Friday night and into the first part of the day on Saturday. So with respect to the weekend forecast, just giving you that first alert that on Saturday at least we could see a better chance for rain and storms coming in. You'll see there. And also looks like Friday's high around 79. Possibly we could see a couple of strong thunderstorms. So giving you that first alert on Friday for that 70% chance for rain. But had a fun time today. Thankfully, all those storms moved out. Had a chance to go and visit Vestavia Elementary East and over in Vestavia Hills, and these are the 3rd graders, and I want to thank all the teachers there. I want to thank Miss Ferris for inviting me. We had a blast today singing weather songs and sang some of my songs from Weather's the Word, and we also talked about severe weather safety and practice giving the forecast. You can see they did a great job right there. A lot of junior weather watchers in that crowd, but a great time out there today. Kids certainly, Tania, super excited that we have summer break right around the corner. We talked about our lightning safety, and of course, we talked about that delicious cake that you just saw there.
And I have yet to grab a slice.
You better
Wes.
try it.
I know, and I forgot, and I meant to grab that before my break. So downstairs I go after Weather Extra. But let's talk about beyond the 7-day, that 8 to 14-day rainfall outlook, May 21st through May 27th. A good mix across the U.S., but it looks like most of us are going to be seeing above average rainfall. More near average rainfall for the West Coast, for California, parts of Oregon, below average for parts across the Southwest U.S. We're looking at New Mexico, but notice us here across Alabama, we're included in above average rainfall. So more wet days ahead of us. This week is kind of wet. We will see plenty of breaks, but showers and storms, but looking at above average rainfall for even later this month, May 21st through May 27th. Looking at that 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, May 21st through May 27th, it looks looks like the northwestern portions of the U.S. seeing below average temperatures, but as far as us here at home, we're going to be seeing above average temperatures. So we're going to be looking a lot hotter and warmer as we approach the end of this month. So just giving you a first alert, stay hydrated, bring out that sunscreen, and get ready because the heat only gets hotter from here on. We'll continue to give you all updates beyond the 7-day, but cleanup efforts are underway in Florida after severe thunderstorms and strong winds hit some areas. While miles away in Oklahoma, volunteers line up and donations pour in after an EF4 tornado nearly flattened a town. Fox News' Kevin has more on this story.
Intense storms causing heavy damage over the weekend across a number of neighborhoods in Orange County, Florida. Downed trees, broken fences, and debris covering roads and lawns after recorded winds of over 60 miles per hour.
I heard a bunch of wind and then crash, boom, bang.
Much of the weekend spent cleaning up, neighbors showing kindness and lending a helping hand.
About 6, 7, 8 guys showed up to help, and then some neighbors heard our chainsaws and came over and said, hey, can you help us? So it's pretty cool just seeing everybody jump together and help each other.
Some families in Barnstall, Oklahoma suffered total devastation after an EF4 tornado ripped through the area. Their homes leveled to the ground.
To see where I grew up is just gone. It's gone.
This woman grieving the loss of her grandfather.
I love him so much. And I know that he loved, he loved Jesus and he loved his family.
And like in Florida, volunteers are showing up to help with cleanup efforts. Donations have also been pouring in. So much so, no more personal items are being accepted, but organizers say they need equipment like dump trucks and hauling trailers to collect and remove debris.
There is a reason for everything. 5 years from now, 10 years ago, 10 years from now, we're going to be talking about this, and we're going to be better because of it.
Tradespeople like plumbers and electricians are also desperately needed to work on the homes still standing. Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
And don't go anywhere. We'll have more First Alert Weather Extra right here after the break.